Happy Monday, everyone. Let's get into tonight's topic. Another black shirt. Today's shirt is it says 444. This is the title of Jay-Z's 13th studio album. I'm a very big Jay-Z fan, and so that's what we're rocking tonight. But let's get into tonight's conversation because I kind of can't wait for it. I'm on some energy from a podcast that I had on Friday where we talked a little bit about following your path when it comes to your career. And something that came up was the idea of listening to other people when it comes to your career direction. For many of us, we've been told this is the right way to get to success. You go to school, you get a good job, and this is what we do. That was one school of thought. Then in recent years, it's been the idea of don't work for someone else, build your own dream. If you work for somebody else, you're building someone else's dream and some other nonsense. And so we got this proliferation of everybody wanting to be an entrepreneur, whether or not it's something they were actually interested in, whether or not they actually had a business idea, a viable business idea, a profitable business idea. We have all these people that are investing in businesses, trying to start their own business and not being successful, or quitting before they even became successful or even tried because it just wasn't for them. But the only reason they started it was because someone else told them that it was a good idea. They're listening to the success stories of other people. The problem with listening to other people when it comes to your career and the path you should be on is that you begin to lose your own voice. You begin to lose your own thoughts, your own vision as to where you should be. And I'll give you my own example. When I was growing up, mom and dad, if you're listening, I love y'all. Y'all are the best thing since sliced bread. But, when I was growing up, I was born to immigrant parents, born to family from Barbados. And the idea is that, okay, if we came over from home, you're here in the US, your job is to study, get a good job, and, save and get married, have kids, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That was the idea. And I subscribed to that for a long time until I realized that being in a corporate space past a certain point was no longer going to serve me. And I wrestled with that decision because it's like, besides the fact that I was nervous about fully stepping out and doing what I was drawn to do, I was also like, what are my parents going to think of this? Like, what are my parents going to say when I tell them I am done with corporate, for now, who knows if I go back, but I'm done with corporate. I want to do something else. And I felt like I was going to disappoint them because this is not the idea of success that they had for me. It wasn't, what they thought for all of us, because I went and I got a good job and all the things, everything they had told me to do, I had done, similar to my siblings. But then come to this point, I'm not doing what they told me to do. I'm on a completely different path. And I was just like, what are they going to think? Surprisingly, my parents are very supportive of the decisions I make because they're like, hey, you're an adult and we believe that you have what it takes to do whatever it is that the Lord has placed on your heart to do. But that was something I struggled with in making that decision for my own life. And I'm almost 40. And for a lot of us, it's the same struggle. People have told us that this is how you're going to be successful. This is the one path to success. And if you choose to do something else, now you're being judged. Now you're being side-eyed. Now you're being ostracized. Now you feel like you're letting people down because you're no longer doing what they think is best. But when it comes to your own career vision and your own career fulfillment, you've got to listen to your own voice. Why? Because no one else is walking this path with you. So when you sign on the dotted line for another job that you really don't want to go to, no one else is going to that job with you every day. That's you, whether it's that you're going into an office every day or you're logging on from home. The idea is that you are the person who has to be in that job every day. You have to manage those responsibilities. You have to wake up and look at yourself in the mirror and say, this is what I'm doing every day. And towards the end of my corporate career, that's the struggle that I was having. I was getting up and looking at myself every day in the mirror saying, what am I doing with myself? Is this what I should be doing? And even though it may be uncomfortable, it became more and more uncomfortable looking at myself in the mirror every day, listening to the voices of others, listening to the opinions of others, and not saying there's anything wrong with getting counsel from people that you trust. But at the end of the day, if you listen to the voices of others, you may stay in a place that no longer serves you. The reason for that is that the path that you are supposed to be on is just for you. It's not for someone else. And if you end up living someone else's dream, you never live your own. And this also shows up just out, even beyond being an entrepreneur or having a career. When it comes to the job paths, there's so many people that feel like, oh, the only way to success in corporate is if you go and you be a manager and you're a senior leader and a VP and so forth. And the truth is that isn't the path for everyone. Leadership is a responsibility. Leadership is a huge responsibility. When you have the livelihoods of other people in your hands, it's not just about you filling out performance reviews or, putting some files together and doing weekly one-on-ones. You are responsible for the livelihoods of other people. You are dealing with their morale. You're dealing with their productivity. You're dealing with their results. You're dealing with team conflict and nurturing your own culture in a team outside, or within the organization. And so choosing to step on that ladder should be an intentional decision, not just one that you stumble into because someone else told you this is a good path for your career. And so I want to encourage you, when you are thinking about your career vision, about what you want to do next, or do you want to stay where you are, you've got to listen to your own voice and not focus on that of others. And it may be, and walk with me here, it may be that you've listened so long to the voices of other people that it's now even crowding out your own, and your voice is starting to say the same thing that they're saying. And that's the reason why it's important for you to take a step back. This is my invitation for you to take a step back. Where are you today? Whose path are you walking on? Is the career path that you're on right now, are the jobs that you're applying for, are these jobs that you truly want to do? Do they interest you? Does the work feel like it's going to be meaningful? And it doesn't have to be super passion-driven work, because I know that sometimes passion does not pay the bills. We live in reality, not utopia. But does the work feel like it will be meaningful? Do you feel like you'll be able to use the skills that you want to use? Will you be able to drive the results and the outcomes that you envision for yourself? And if the answer to that is no, but it would please other people, then you have to ask yourself, why am I still there? And the ultimate thing I'll say is that when you look at what success looks like to you, you want to be able to look ahead and say, this is the vision that I have for myself. Like when I think about my success now, it's not necessarily climbing the corporate ladder. And it used to be that I wanted to climb the corporate ladder. I saw myself at the top of an organization in a CFO role, all the things. But over time, that vision has changed. And so for you thinking ahead and looking ahead, what does that end goal look like to you? And as a path that you're on now, going towards an end goal that no longer feels right, that no longer feels aligned, that no longer feels like it's going to continue to motivate you. Because then that may be why you're going from job to job to job and you're still not feeling settled. You're putting in all these applications, you're going on all these interviews, and you still are not getting any energy or excitement because you're walking a different path than where you should be. And I know the idea is that, man, it's hard enough to get a job out here. Should I really be trying to change course midstream right now and do something else? And yes, the job market is tough. There's a lot going on. But at the same time, is it worth it? Are you worth it to you to make the decision to go after something intentional and aligned versus just falling into a career and hoping that it works out? And the truth is, when you go into something that feels more meaningful, where you feel like you'll be more productive, that's more aligned with your vision, you're going to do better at it. You're going to be more productive. You're going to get better results because it's actually going to be something you want to do, not something that you have to do. And going back to the leadership ladder, if you are someone who gets on that ladder who doesn't really want to be there, you then will end up not only hurting yourself, but the team members who are looking to you for guidance and for direction, because they're expecting you to truly lead. And that, if that's not your skill set or your interest, that's where you're going to end up having a disconnect with your team. And again, it causes negative impacts for them. They may get unmotivated. They may get, detached from work. They may start to struggle. They may get burnt out, all because you decided to walk on a path that you shouldn't be on. And on the flip side, perhaps you're someone who has always been on a technical career or an individual type of career, and you feel pulled in the leadership ladder to help coach, train, develop people. And if you've been avoiding that, if you've been making the decision like, hey, I'm never going to do that, there are people in your organization who are missing out on the leadership, the coaching, the advice, the guidance, the grooming, the development that you could provide, all because you're fighting the path that you should be on. And so I want to encourage you to not listen to the voices of other people when it comes to your career and moving forward. One of the first exercises that I do with my clients when we're coaching is talking through, what do things look like to them? What do they feel? What are their fears? Because it's easy to get lost in what everyone else says, but what are you feeling? Where should you be? What's important to you? Why do you want to get out of bed every morning to do X, Y, and Z? And you can say, sure, it's to get a paycheck, but there's more than that. You are more than just waking up every day and getting a paycheck. That's too small of a thing for you to live for in this entire existence. And so with that, I want to encourage you to go into the rest of your week with intention in terms of, what career path am I going to pursue? Am I going to keep listening to the voices of other people who told me to go this way, follow this path, follow this script in order to get to success? Or am I going to define success for myself? Am I going to make the decision that I'm no longer going to pursue what other people feel is right for me, but rather I'm going to pursue what feels right, aligned, and meaningful for my career? And if you have any questions, comments, if you're feeling stuck in that transition as to, I don't know where to go from here, because maybe you're having that conflict between what you want and what other people are saying, I would love for you to leave me a comment, send me a DM, or email me at hello@rockcareer.com. And I will see you guys next time.